Ladies and gentlemen,
now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
This is the Hype Reality Podcast.
Listen.
Hype-reality.com.
Listen, or I'll kill ya.
Hey, welcome to the latest edition of the Hype Reality Podcast. My name is Emilio, a.k.a. Triple D, a.k.a. the Dominican Dirk Diggler, along with my co-host,
Ephraim.
Without further ado, let's talk about some shit.
Mark, the question comes down to this. Do we want the N-word being used out in society, or do we want to stop the N-word, which has become so, as it is, racially divisive? And I'll be real candid with you. I mean, Trinidad, I think you know that we should probably get rid of the N-word, but in reality, I think many rappers are afraid that they'll lose out on money and sales.
Now, Ephraim, being a strong black man that you are, did you bear witness to this Trinidad James interview last week?
Yeah, I caught some of it, especially the stuff with him and Mark Lamont Hill, and all of this is relating back to the fallout with the SAE fraternity in Oklahoma, and them, saying there'll be no niggers in the fraternity. I guess like
There'll never be a nigger at sea. There'll never be a nigger at sea. You ain't from a tree, but it'll never stop with me. There'll never be a nigger.
And the continuing fallout with that, it was like what the one of the adult sponsors of the fraternity, it's like this old ass lady, she was like filmed basically singing along to a Trinidad James song, which I thought was actually pretty hilarious. I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought it was hilarious at the time. But it was almost funny how it even came out, because she started going around doing these interviews when they got in trouble and saying like, "Oh, I can't believe they would say such thing. I was so appalled when I heard that." And like, I'm pretty sure what happened was after that, like one of the little like, "What the fuck, that old bitch!" All right, here we go. Like they just released that video, which I guess was out before. It was already on Vine.
Got him.
And then it just like they just put it back out there for the masses, and it was just like, oh man, couldn't have been any funnier.
So after watching
context.
that, and hearing Trinidad James say what he said, the bigger question of it all is Trinidad James black?
What do you mean? Yeah, black as hell. Like,
all right, cool. On to the next point.
What?
I think it was funny. I think his presentation was what had me laughing more than anything. Like, I think what he was saying was probably overlooked based on his appearance. I think what the points that he proved were actually pretty valid or whatnot, and the way he kind of combated that the only white guy on that panel in that conversation with, what was the guy trying to say, that the reason why he's making all his money is because he uses the N-word all in his raps and shit like that. No, I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with him making a ton of money. Eminem's never said the N-word, and he's made more money than all these goddamn rappers. But the fact that it's like it's a way of talk or whatnot.
But I've heard of people like other rappers, not necessarily in terms of money, but have alluded to the idea of them not being, whether white or sometimes Hispanic or Asian or whatever, like them not being able to use the N-word being almost like a handicap for them, especially like in rap battles. Like it's almost like a nice little filler word. Like you don't
definitely
get,
is.
like you get these on the fill a couple bars. Hey, you do like Trinidad James did, and nigga, just like sprinkle it out there.
And it rhymes really well with motherfucker and like
and trigger, and like a lot of great rap words and adjectives. But anyways,
but I also think I don't think it's a handicap. But also I don't battle rap because I think that's just for queers. And also like I think when you're limited, it's usually what brings out the more creativity out of you. Hopefully,
right.
Like in that kind of situation, you can't use that word, so you either find other words to paint the canvas. You have to find other colors. If you can't use this color, black, I guess, you got to use other ones to paint your picture. Right. And that's what like certain people like Eminem or whatever can get around that shit, and he gets pretty creative with his goddamn words and bars and shit. But nonetheless, like I could definitely see it. Like, man, I just want to say it, man. I'm pretty sure it'll fit really good right here, like just this one time. But goddamn politics, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, fuck it. Damn, looking for another career.
But like it was good. I thought the panel is like, even though it was kind of funny, I encourage everyone to check it out in full. But like they did a good job of like getting like a lot of different perspectives on that issue, like today's perspectives. Like you have like Trinidad James, who like I know a lot of black people or have met a lot of black people that kind of feel the same way he does, like where he'll have like a lot of non-black friends, and like he'll refer to them as what's up my nigga, blah blah blah, that's a Chet, my nigga over there, like you know, like that kind of thing. And if Chet were to say, oh yeah, you know, Trinidad's my nigga, blah blah blah, like amongst themselves, like in a way that's understood, like they would be okay with it, like within their own little context of being friends. But at the same time, you know, he would not be cool with another white person he didn't know saying that, you know, calling him the N-word outside of their, you know, friendship or anything. So like that's like a real perspective a lot of people have, you know, like even amongst like other artists, like, you know, in the mainstream that have like said stuff like that. Like Tyler the Creator said like similar things about the use of the N-word and like white people, you know, saying nigger and like
giving the word power.
Yeah, and like, it's like, I mean, I almost feel like they're like even though like, it makes sense to have like rappers on and ask them about these things, they're almost like the worst people to ask about the situation, because like who can be any more compromised? Like even if I had a serious problem with white people saying, you know, nigger, I would not be doing any more shows. I would not be selling any albums. Like that's really all you know, when you go to like, you know, Coachella or Rock the Bells or any kind of big rap concert, it's going to be
really bright outside.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing but white people singing along to your song. So like, I'm sure after a while you probably just get numb to it. If you know, if you're YG and Rich Homie Quan, you're doing, you know, your big hit or whatever in front of, you know, this big ass white crowd, like they're going to sing along, man. You're not going to stop the show and like you
can't say that. You two. Hey, I see you over there, you little bitch ass Negro. Like,
I mean, even me as like a very fairly casual concert goer, I've like kind of had to tune that part of my brain out. You know, like when I go to certain concerts, like namely when I went to the Watch the Throne concert like 2-3 years ago. Like, I'll give you a one guess of what big song these guys had that was gonna be problematic for something like this.
Doctors say I'm the illest, cause I'm suffering from realness. Got my niggas in Paris, and they going gorillas, huh?
And of course, you know, at the end of the show,
of all things, they play that song like 11 times at the show.
Why wasn't the one in New Jersey? They did like 7 times in a row. Niggas in Paris, they did 7 times in a row.
That could have been problematic for a couple people. A little bit uncomfortable.
So just in case, whatever you missed it the first time, like you can't got your chance. This is what you paid for, white people.
Hey man, they say that song one more time, I'ma say it. I've been holding it back. I'ma say it. Okay, they did it. Okay, cool. It's go time.
But yeah, I don't know. I get like, I don't know. It's kind of, so I understand that perspective, and of course it's just like the overarching overall perspective. A lot of people just like, oh well, we as black people, we own this word and we can say it amongst ourselves because for us it means something. We all come like from a collective, you know, mindset and experience, so we're adapting to this, and like white people shouldn't be able to say it, and that's that whatever. Like, so they did it in that little like 5 or 7 minute like segment. They did a good job of representing.
I think what Mark said, he was really laying down fucking the law in that conversation. That guy's fucking quite that dude in that realm. Mm-hmm. But what he was saying about like, you know, the history behind that word and how they started that word and the connotation of that word with white people using it, you would think after all that fuck shit, why would you even want to use that fucking word? Like, right. How you guys demonized and used that word for so long and the anger behind it. Why would you guys even want to say that shit, no matter where you heard it or something? Like, that should give you a bad taste in your mouth the minute you even think about it as a white person or whatnot. Like, you know, there's always like the weirder conversations, like the outer, I guess like when you start expanding on the conversation itself, like, yeah, we can all understand that white people shouldn't say this word, right? Mm-hmm. Deal. But then when you go like on the outer, like outer races, like, but what about Asians or maybe Indians or Hispanic people and like, I say for one, usually Hispanic people get the "you're all right with us" kind of pass. I don't use it still, but nonetheless, like I know regular part of the vocabulary, and everybody's kind of okay with it. I would be at the barbershop sometimes, and I'd be like, "Really, bro? No one's gonna say anything? All right, cool." So I guess it's just cool. But like for those who don't know, I am not black, And I've hung around a lot of people that are not black, with no black people being around, and they use that word just as often as I use I or you, or I say dude, I guess, or something. Like they use that word pretty frequently, just like black people, some black people may use it as well. And the same kind of, rule of thumb is a way to address your homie or making fun of something or using it for literally almost anything at this point. They can say that word for anything nowadays. But yeah, when there's when the cat's away, the mice will play kind of shit. Like, they say that shit all the goddamn time. And I still get a bad taste in my mouth when certain people who I don't feel are quote unquote real enough to say that shit say it. It's just like a weird thing to me. Sorry, Asian people. Whenever I hear you guys say it, that shit fucking throws me off. Like, maybe should I step in and be like, yeah, you shouldn't be saying that shit. But at the same time, I always feel like whenever I hear someone say it and I feel awkward about it, I was like, yeah, it's not my job to, cop or police this shit. But I need to start bringing some more black people around here so they can bear witness and, lay down the hammer.
Yeah, but like I feel like 9 times out of 10, like if there were black people around there, they just wouldn't say.
They wouldn't say it at all, actually.
But it's just interesting, like especially when I encounter, particularly the college age white male who wants to get on his
Moral Technique and Wu-Tang and shit.
Well, not even that. I'm talking about just like the one on some young Republican shit, like, oh, was it okay if you say this word and I can't say this word, blah blah blah. I was like, why is it okay if you say the N-word and I can't say it, but I'll get in trouble if I do this? And like, I'm always like kind of puzzled by that question. It was like, I'd have to think to myself, I'm like, I don't know. Let's think about it. What historical, oppressive thing happened in this country that makes it not okay for you to say this word? Like, I don't know. like, are you really curious as to why you can't say this word, or are you just trying to be a dick right now?
Is it just like you're so used to getting everything your way, and this one thing you just can't change? Like,
yeah, it's like you said before. Like, why would you want to say that word? And like, to me, it's like, I think the proper rule of thumb for a lot of people is white people can't say that word. And I think the proper rule of thumb should just be like, white people can't say that word anymore. And I think that's what people should really, that's how people should look at it. Like, there was a time when white people say that word, it just kind of comes, it's always going to be a way, and it's not going to be totally understood. Even if I'm around like white friends and we're joking around, if I hear them say that word, it's not going to be in a totally way where I'm like, I'm going to understand where it's coming from. Like, it's like Dave Chappelle shit, whatever, when he was doing a lot of jokes about race and about like black people and stereotypes and stuff like that, and he sees white people laughing, he's kind of like had that little paranoia. Like, I mean, maybe you're laughing a little bit too hard at that. Like, are you laughing because I said something funny, or because you actually think that, we all look and think like this? Like, and so it's like, you're always going to have that, paranoia in you, whatever.
Are they laughing with you or at you?
Kind of shit. But I also like have to cringe when I hear like, not just Mark Lamont Hill, he kind of alluded to it, but I've heard people, in my own personal life, black people kind of profess like this ownership, like, we own this word, like, we get to determine who gets to say it, who whatever. Like, I was like, I just think that's bullshit. Like, it's a word. At the end of the day, people can say whatever the fuck they want to say. I just think that people should be held responsible for shit they say, and be responsible for the words they're gonna say. Like, I can't sit here and lie and say, oh, I don't care if white people say that word. I guarantee if I meet some like white person and they say that word around me, like, I'm not going to associate with them or whatever. I'm kind of past the point of like trying to beat every white person's ass that says that word around me, whether they're joking. You got to pause that shit nowadays? Damn. Okay. I'm kind of past that point where I want to fight like every white person that says the N-word, whether it be in a derogatory sense or them just like singing a rap song or like saying it to me because they think we're friends or they're trying to be funny. But like, I definitely do not associate with any white people that, that refer to me as the nigger or say nigger, or at least to my face or around me. That's all I can really ask for. Like, whatever you kind of do in your own time and when you're alone in the car and you put on your Kendrick Lamar album,
or
like
play your 50 Cent and B.I.G.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna give myself like that kind of mental stress worrying about whether you're saying it or not. But it kind of is what
just
it is.
Just has a, common decency to not say it around me.
There you go. That's all you can ask for.
Or my other brethren.
Guys, I can't believe that you just said that.
So what?
The N-word?
So? Nobody's around. Yeah.
Nigga.
man. I think this is gonna be a conversation for many years to come.
That's the thing too. Like, that's the other part where I don't understand like this ownership of the word necessarily. And again, I don't look down on black people that you choose to say the word or don't use the word. Like, I don't think one is better than the other. But I do find it problematic because, like, again, there's really no logic to this shit. It's like, okay, only black people can say these words. Like, okay, well, what about, someone like a Drake or a J. Cole? They're like half black, and this one guy's from the suburbs. At least his dad is black, but he's from Canada. All right, okay, we'll let that one go. Whatever. Okay, what about this? What about that? Just nitpicking at it. Like, what if he's like a quarter black? He looks white. He dresses white. He goes to a prep school.
Like a Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Blake Griffin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's gonna be the rule of thumb for this shit? Like, it's so stupid.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why, because technically, well, they're not. The Drake and J. Cole thing, I definitely it's taking me a while to get used to Drake saying it as often as he does, but for some reason, it sounds so natural when J. Cole says it. Like,
yeah,
I think there's more of the quote unquote real coming out of J. Cole, and Drake just using it as a filler and or something that rhymes or makes him sound kind of hard, but like. I think it was the guy Logic, is his name, Logic from was it California or some shit?
He's from Maryland.
Damn. Anyway, Logic. He's a little mulatto dude, and
looks pretty white.
He looks very white. Like I would say, like I would think he was like white and maybe Hispanic mix or some shit like that. But definitely, I didn't think he was gonna be half and half, like he said on I think it was Breakfast Club. The one thing he says, like, yeah, I don't really use that word whenever any black people are around, and that even surprised me, but I give him something for that because like he doesn't want to get into that conversation and get into that more or less. Like I think that's a smart choice. I think even Charlamagne's like, you're a smart guy.
Yeah, he's only misunderstood, and there's a reason why he doesn't use it on records
exactly.
or whatever, because like, it's like you don't want to be misunderstood because you obviously looked a certain way and people perceive you a certain way. And also, it probably helps out a lot more in terms of brand opportunities. If you're not going around, saying nigger all the time, like I'm pretty sure.
Better chance that Tony Hawk will associate with you.
Yeah, better chance you'll get on, some kind of morning show or something like that, like perform at.
Get on Fox and Friends.
There you go. So,
good God.
I don't know.
Hang out with Stacey Dash.
Yeah, it's always weird. Like, places I go and see the different rules, like somewhere like where we grew up in Florida or even where we live at now in New York, like especially where there's like a large Hispanic population and like in a lot of these areas and neighborhoods, black and Spanish people kind of go hand in hand, even though like there's obviously distinctions between them, so people don't really think about it too much. But if you go like maybe somewhere on the West Coast or even like somewhere like Chicago where it's like these are like the Mexicans or whatever, and like we stick amongst ourselves, and there's like tensions between like groups historically, then you're gonna have like maybe problematic. I don't know if like I don't know. I'd be curious to see if like Mexican people in Chicago and California and use like nigger as much as like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans use it in
that'd be pretty fucking hard. That'd be pretty hard, man. If you go to any kind of barbershop, like they'll even be speaking Spanish, and then you just hear that word come out like. I have an idea what they're talking about. Talking about a friend, maybe, or enemy. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's good. It's like almost like some jail shit. Like just like split up the fucking blacks and the Mexicans and the Aryans and all this shit. Like, I just think I don't know, man. I think it's better. I'll stand by this. Like, I think it's better that the word is eliminated as much as possible. But if anybody has the ability to shut it down, I will still go with the black team on that one. I would definitely go with that. Like the minute I hear someone say it, I look at the closest black person in the room, like, is that cool? All right, cool. I'm cool. We cool. And just march forward. Like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna turn a blind eye to this shit.
Yeah, but it gives it power. Like
right,
I can't tell you how many movies, as of recently and even way back, like. Where like that's like use it like as a way to like get like shock and awe, like they'll have like some like the movie would kind of not nothing to do with race or whatever, like you seen Shaun of the Dead or whatever, right? Nothing to do with black people. I don't think there's any black people in that fucking movie or whatever. About zombies and shit. And then he had the one part where the guy pulls up in the car or whatever to pick them up, and he's like gets out the car, what's up my niggas? And everyone's like looking like, oh, that's weird. But it was meant to be like kind of like a get some kind of like not drama, but like get some kind of laughter out of it. Even like that movie Neighbors.
Yeah.
The same shit. It happens all the time where it's like, oh man, like look at me, I'm being controversial. I'm saying, like I think it's so stupid. I think it's like a cheap, like a cheap laugh to get out of like that people take advantage of, and it makes like the audience like you always want to like strike some kind of feeling in your audience, and that's like a cheap way to do it. Like I see it done over and over again. Of course, like the granddaddy of this all is Mr. Quentin Tarantino.
When you came pulling in here, did you notice a sign on the front of my house that said "Dead Nigger Storage"?
Jimmy, you know I ain't seen no shit.
Did you notice a sign in the front of my house that said "Dead Nigger Storage"?
No, I didn't.
You know why you didn't see that sign?
Why?
Because it ain't there, because storing dead niggers ain't my fucking business. That's why.
But of course, one of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction, with dead nigger storage, like in the garage. Like that was like classic shit. Don't get me wrong, great scene, great film. Wasn't
well written.
Well written.
Well written.
Necessary? I don't think so. And I'm sure, especially that time when it came out, like, 93, 94, people were like,
96.
96, really?
Yeah, I think it was
Damn.
96, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, took the air out of the room. Like, oh, man, this guy's a fucking genius. Like, oh, he's so brave. And
he's saying it right to one of them.
Yeah. So,
right in his eye.
So edgy. That Quentin, oh, man. It doesn't really look back since. But, yeah, I think it's weird. Again, like, I just think everyone should be allowed to say whatever words they want to say. Just be responsible and understand the context of what you're saying. Don't be like these fuck asses on that Sigma Epsilon bus bullshit and say this stupid shit, and then you'd be surprised you get in trouble for it, and then you want to like you throw up your hands in the air and say, oh well, all the rappers and shit say it, blah blah blah. Like that's the shit that pisses me off. Like there's always this trend with a lot of these like more conservative leaning people. Whenever they always want to point their finger at particularly minorities and say, oh, right, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and be responsible, or be for yourself and, be self-sufficient and blah, blah, blah.
Get off welfare and quit collecting your goddamn handouts.
Yeah, be self-responsible, blah, blah, blah. But whenever these motherfuckers, whenever a white person gets in trouble for saying some racially charged thing, again, like this with this N-word shit, they always want to point the finger back at like us, like, oh well, all those rappers are saying, it's taking over our pop culture. What does he expect them to do? Like even with that fucking Don Imus shit, that was a big thing. Like when Don Imus got in trouble for saying nappy-headed hoes, they somehow managed to turn the finger back on rap music. Like it's like, oh well, rap music is responsible for this and that and third, whatever. Like even Jay-Z took the time to respond to that shit.
I miss the part when it stopped being by I miss. What do my lyrics got to do with this shit? Scarface the movie did more than Scarface the rapper to me. Still that ain't the blame for all the shit that's happened to me. Are you saying what I'm spitting is worse than these celebrities showing? Ain't kidding, you kidding? Let's stop the bullshitting till we all without sin. Let's quit the pulpitting.
Oprah actually had, if I'm right, it was Common.
Oh yeah.
Was it Q-Tip? It was Common and two other people, Russell Simmons, on
probably.
A panel and fucking crucified these motherfuckers. They had all these ladies in the crowd and all this shit. Like she played along with that argument. Like, hip hop is a lot to blame. I'm like, really, bitch? Like. These guys are to blame for that old asshole saying that? That guy has nothing to do. Really, bitch? If Don Imus would have fucking went on the stand and be like, gangster rap made me do it, I would have shit myself. Like, there's no fucking way. And I thought Oprah was like, wow, I thought that was a low, low blow. Especially for Common? Really, bitch? Like, that's your people, bro. You didn't fall off. But yeah, like, I think it's some fucking half-ass shit. I think white people in general just need to stop, like, trying to get a rouse out of these black people. Like, I don't know why that's so entertaining to them. And, like, this is a deep-seated thing, and I think Caucasians in general, they like fucking with animals and all kinds of weird shit, see what the fuck will happen. Fucking with, like, they just like fucking with danger, and like, you see how this doesn't work out. It never works out. You never hear someone say it or bring up the conversation or anything unless they're in, a Fox News environment and it work out to their benefit. Like, it never works out. You hear the same conversation over and over again, and it doesn't get played out for some fucking reason. White people still love trying to massage that idea or, like, hopefully get a little bit of ground and see where that takes them. But, like...
Well, I think now more than ever, like, it pisses white people off because, like, we live in social media age and, like, there's obviously consequences. A lot of times, immediate consequences for white people even, like, uttering something racially charged, whether it be a tweet that they put out into the world, or like, some little video like this, like the...
Or that fucking, was it like 2 years ago, that bitch from Dancing with the Stars went to that Halloween party, that Hollywood or whatever Halloween party.
Oh, yeah, dressing
and
up in
blackface.
blackface.
And one of them black chicks from fucking Orange is the New Black. Really? No one told you that was a bad idea, you dumb bitch? Like, no one...
I think it's great. I love seeing that shit happen. Like, I think, like, people are finally...
I love seeing reminders.
Finally dealing the consequences of not knowing and having any black friends. like just one black friend you had in your midst would say, "Hey, we're not going out with you wearing that shit on your face," or shit like that. I think is crucial. I mean, you got to hang out with everybody.
Like, seriously? That's where we're going with this. We got to sit down and have a talk real quick. We might have to bail on this party. Gotta put on the roots and school your fuck ass. But yeah, man, white people quit saying that shit, and black people keep it gully.
How do you get a job without experience? How do you get experience without a job? The answer for many years in competitive media industries like journalism, publishing, television production, and filmmaking has been unpaid internships. But have unpaid internships been violating labor laws?
So I'm going to start this one with Viacom. You guys are great. I love MTV and Comedy Central and shit, BT and all the other channels. You guys damn near own everything. You guys are great people, and I enjoyed my experience with you. With that being said, I'm getting some money. I'm getting paid, bitch. So Viacom settled out of court. Would that be considered settling out of court for a whopping sum of $7.2 million? Yeah, it's, I think, a record for all these, like, recent, over the last, like, 4 years, all these interns getting on some uppity shit and be like, hey, man, I think it's kind of fucked up that I can't get a job with you guys, but I gave you guys all my time, and now I like started to look at the landscape. It looks like it's almost like you guys are doing this shit on purpose. Like, you guys are, instead of making space for entry-level work, you're just getting a shitload of unpaid interns to do this shit instead. And then it's like we're kind of helping you out, kind of blah, blah. Like, technically they are, but it's like almost like a device that they set up to kind of negate that. And then it makes it harder for people when they get out of these internships or these colleges or whatever to actually get entry-level work. They end up taking really fuck jobs or going unemployed for a long period of time, or just going back to the workforce, taking jobs again, or, switching careers, or all kinds of things depending on circumstance. And it was just weird. Like, me and Mr. Frame over here both interned at Viacom at some period of time over the last couple of years. I interned with them right when they were implementing paying interns. Like, my semester that I finished there, they were even telling me my last couple of weeks, like, hey, man, you might, if you want to stay here, you can, like, apply. Hopefully you can get in to an internship over the summer. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. I want to start getting paid. Like, oh, no, they're paying. I'm like, rewind that. What the fuck did you just say? Like, I was putting in 30-plus hours a week in this bitch. And then, yeah, really? That's what you guys are going to do right now? Obviously, they caught wind of something that was going on in the air and decided to make change. I'm happy I'm getting something, but like... Yeah,
what's the range of, like, this money that... So, obviously, the lawsuit entail that they're going to have to, like, go back and pay these interns from, like, I think it was, like, maybe from, like, 2007 to, like, 2014. So, anyone who, like, interned for Viacom during that time is eligible for some cash payment, cash money. So, like, what's the range, again, for that, for the people who don't know?
Get your greenbacks, bitches. Anybody that interned between August 2007 and June 2013 in the New York offices are eligible for reimbursement of $505 per semester with no more than $1,010. I think they're still trying to work out the whole... the California locations, if you intern in their LA offices, or I think it's like Santa Monica or some shit like that. Yeah. There's like September 2010 to June 2013. I'm assuming there's a shitload more little fuck asses in NYC. Yeah,
and it's like it's crazy competitive, like, for those internships, like, especially during the summer. I mean, summer internships in general are just more competitive because obviously more kids have time off and they want to take advantage of
all the time in the world.
Yeah, so like, but for MTV and in general, like they they made so much use of like their brand and their name. Like, oh, we're MTV. Don't you want to come work for us for free? So people come out from like California, from Florida, Texas, all to come to New York just to intern here for X amount of months, for free at that point.
Right.
And,
like nothing, not lunch, not a stipend, like nothing to get you through your day. Like that's a little like something, bitch. Like a free lunch, even if it's a cafeteria lunch, give us something, bro. Like prison gets free lunch.
The most expensive city in the world too. I mean, I'm kind of. I mean, don't be wrong. If I get that check, I get that check. But like, I do feel some type of way because like I did have a pretty good experience at MTV. I met some great people. Yep. I got some some great letters of recommendation, which ultimately did lead me to like where I wanted to be at in terms of jobs and other opportunities. And again, like just having that brand, that name on my resume, stands out. Like everyone recognizes MTV in terms of like employment. And like I do kind of feel like a lot of people, they do stereotype our generation, like millennials, as being like lazy and ungrateful.
Oh, we're the trust fund kids.
Yeah, like, we're just like, we don't understand what hard work is, and like this, even when I remember when this lawsuit was going on, it kind of spoke to that for a lot of people, because like people kind of just see it, oh, what do you expect? You're an intern, you should be happy to get your foot in the door, kind of shit. And like, which to a large degree they should be, but the problem, I guess, with Viacom, as like this lawsuit kind of entails, like they were really kind of getting away from what the original purpose of the internship was supposed to be. The internship was supposed to be like a learning experience / pathway to employment for some people.
It shouldn't be supplementing their workforce.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like they kind of took into account, okay, we're just gonna have interns do this shit and save money and put all the shit on their shoulders and like just count on this to happen, and we're not gonna have to make these changes. And they thought they would benefit them, and it did, I guess, in the short term. But in the long term, I guess it just really fucked them up, because they have to not only have to pay this lawsuit.
They just laid off a shitload of people.
Yeah, just laid off a ton of people. Just like, so I guess that's the troubles of being short-sighted.
Like my experience with them, like I could go for years about how awesome that experience was. I had a great time there. I wish on everything I could still be working there till this day. I'm assuming this is gonna probably fuck with that. But like when I was there with them, I put a decent amount of hours up. I learned a lot. I met some cool fucking people. Their office is badass. It was everything that I kind of wanted, and like it definitely drove me to want to do more and come out here and live here and work here in New York City and shit. And I was a part of, I think there was a lot of us in our pool, a lot of fucking people there. That's where I kind of like thought this was kind of odd. But nonetheless, I got hired technically onto this show as like an entry-level job as a production assistant. And one of the other kids did too. Both of us, he did 40 hours a week. I was doing 32. He stayed on. My show got canceled. I guess drew the short stick. But I've gotten not so much, but a lot of the cooler jobs that I've gotten have all come from the people that I worked with at MTV. Like they're putting my name out, et cetera, et cetera. So like I am completely thankful for it, but it was just like kind of like, it kind of shook me when I saw them making that change. Like all of a sudden now these people coming forward are going to get paid and we didn't. And then like how much money it costs to be here and go through this shit is like, that's another thing to account for. Like we're not in fucking some basic ass little town or something. We're in New York City working 32 hours with nothing being put in us. Like, you know how much on average you spend over here in the city, like at any given fucking time, and having to buy your own lunch, which is expensive as fuck here, having to commute, do all this shit. If you're lucky to have family up here, you have that. But like, I get both arguments. I learned a fuck lot and I was thankful for it, but I'm not going to turn that check down. Yeah, man, I already know what I'm going to do with my money. I can't wait for that shit to show up. Yeah, bitch. I'm also wondering like if it's going to affect people like from this previous generation, like the people, not generation, but like this this certain group that are being awarded this money, if it's going to affect them doing further business with Viacom. Like, are they going to be like, as soon as they see your name, they're going to push you
they're all like blacklisted.
Yeah, like a little database. And like, they have a fucking humongous network. Like, Viacom owns a lot of shit. So that would I'm just like really wondering if it's going to really affect me, because technically I wasn't a part of the lawsuit. I'm just benefiting from it. Like, right. And technically, like, I'm only getting like, I think I'm getting like the 505 or whatever the case is. I was only there for one semester. The girls, there's like one girl in particular that started this whole thing. She's getting 5 stacks. I would think she wouldn't get hired.
Shit.
Yeah, she's getting 5. The lawyers are getting $900K. That is fucking substantial. That is a fucking decent amount of cash. They definitely benefited. But what I'm saying is, like, for everybody that's like, you know, all because I get the check, does that all mean, like, what does that check come with? What does that $500 come with? Like, as soon as I apply for another job, because, like, I've tried a couple times. I applied for a couple jobs, and I know people that work there still to this day. And, like, I've had no fucking luck with that shit. And I'm just wondering, because I knew about this, and I was telling this guy about it almost a year ago, that, like, I got this email about some fucking law firm and some ladies, like, man, I'm sick of this shit. We're taking them to court, and there's a benefit that you might be able to, you know, profit from this. And I was like, okay, cool. And there's a ton of interns that were along on it. So I'm just wondering, like, just the fact because I'm getting paid from this shit that I will never be able to work with Viacom again, are they that going to be that bitter off of this shit? Or they're going to fucking just turn a blind eye, be like, yeah, we fucked up. On to the next one.
Yeah, I wonder if they should, like, give you an opportunity, like, hey, you can either take this money or we'll give you a job somewhere down the line. Like,
it's like, you can take this money and we can guarantee you won't get a job with us ever, or you can not take this money and there will be a possibility of maybe something possibly maybe happening in the future. What would you take? Fuck.
Take that money and fuck that.
Take that $500. You guys can go fuck yourselves.
They're clearly not hiring people anyway. You guys
they just laid off a shitload of people. Like, sorry, Nickelodeon. It's like, they're going to take another dump on your guys' animation team. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like more for them, because I know a lot of people that do work there did come up through this internship program. So not only they're old enough, they're not getting that fucking money, but like they're also getting fired. I mean, it's not laughing matter.
That's not funny at all, but it's a song that never ends. Jesus Christ, man. I can't get a fucking break with you people.
Play the game right, man. You still lose.
Shit. That's great, man. Well, that's all we got for you guys this week. Sorry for fucking up the last 2 weeks as a way of, I guess, making you guys hate us less. We're going to post up 2 podcasts this week. Hope you enjoy them. Hope you listen to both of them. Definitely worth your time. I'm pretty sure you'll laugh a couple times. Make your pussy queef. Listen to both of them. Laugh a little bit. Yeah, that's what we got. My name is Emilio, a.k.a. Triple D, the Dominican Dirk Diggler. About to sign off. Please continue to listen to us on SoundCloud. Subscribe, rate. We have iTunes. Check us the fuck out. Tell your friends, tell your grandparents, whoever you can. Yeah, man, until next Monday. Peace.